Hi, I'm Sarah Hannah-Spurlock, a Florida Supreme Court certified circuit, county, and family mediator. Today we're talking about one of the most common sources of HOA conflict, property maintenance disputes. Whether it's landscaping, home repairs, or common area upkeep, these issues have a way of sparking frustration among residents, board members, and property managers alike. Here's the thing. Conflict over property maintenance isn't just about aesthetics. It's often about fairness, expectations, and sometimes even personal values. One homeowner might see an overgrown lawn as neglect, while another sees it as natural landscaping. A peeling paint job might look like an eyesore to some, but a financial burden to the homeowner involved. The key is to resolve these disputes in a way that's fair, consistent, and most importantly, non-confrontational. In this video, I'll walk you through common property maintenance conflicts and provide strategies to address them productively without turning every issue into a battle. Let's get started. Why property maintenance becomes a source of conflict. So why do property maintenance disputes get so heated? A few reasons. Different standards and expectations. What looks acceptable is subjective. Some residents expect pristine lawns and perfectly maintained homes, while others may not prioritize curb appeal in the same way. Financial constraints. Not everyone has the resources to repaint their home the moment the HOA notices some fading. Homeowners might delay maintenance due to financial hardship, which can make enforcement feel insensitive or unfair. Selective or inconsistent enforcement. Nothing frustrates residents more than feeling like they're being singled out. If the HOA tells one homeowner to trim their trees, but their neighbor's jungle-like yard goes untouched, it creates resentment. Lack of communication from the HOA. This is my big thing. If residents don't understand the why behind property upkeep rules, or if enforcement seems sudden or aggressive, they're more likely to push back. The bottom line, it's not always about the rule itself. It's about how it's communicated and enforced. And that's where HOAs can do better. So how do we handle property maintenance disputes in a way that reduces frustration and builds cooperation? First, be clear and proactive about maintenance expectations. The best way to avoid disputes is to set clear expectations before problems arise. HOA should regularly remind residents about maintenance guidelines, especially before seasonal changes that might affect upkeep. So here are some tips. Use newsletters, email updates, or the HOA website to provide reminders. Consider sending a friendly seasonal checklist. Spring is here. Don't forget to check your landscaping and exterior paint. Proactive communication prevents situations where a homeowner suddenly gets a violation notice for something they didn't even know was an issue. Second, address violations with a collaborative approach. Nobody likes feeling policed in their own neighborhood. How the HOA approaches the maintenance issue makes all the difference. Start with a friendly notice. Instead of, "You are in violation of HOA Code 3.2, try something like, "Hello, Mr. Homeowner, we noticed your fence needs some repair. We understand that life gets busy and we're happy to provide guidance or resources if needed." Make sure all communications sound like they're coming from a neighbor, not a courtroom. Avoid aggressive or legalistic language. A notice that feels like a formal warning can make people defensive. Don't issue violations without context or a way to discuss concerns. Give people a chance to explain their situation before assuming they're ignoring the rules. Third, be consistent and fair. Nothing erodes trust in an HOA faster than inconsistent enforcement. If the HOA is strict with one homeowner but lenient with another, resentment builds. Document all reported maintenance issues to ensure fair enforcement. Use a property inspection checklist to evaluate every home in the same way so there's no perception of bias. Consistency builds trust and reduces accusations of favoritism or unfair targeting. Now let's talk about what you can do when a homeowner pushes back on a maintenance issue. Number 1, listen first. Enforce second. Before jumping straight to enforcement, take a step back and listen. Sometimes there's a good reason for a delay in maintenance. Consider this scenario. Imagine a homeowner hasn't trimmed their hedges in months. Instead of immediately issuing a fine, a conversation might reveal they've been dealing with a family emergency. In cases like this, offering an extension or alternative solution can go a long way in building goodwill. Number 2, offer reasonable flexibility. Some maintenance issues take time to resolve, and a little flexibility can prevent unnecessary conflict. If a homeowner can't afford a repair immediately, consider offering an extended deadline. Provide a list of trusted local contractors who offer discounts for HOA residents. A little compromise shows that the HOA is less about rules and more about maintaining a community. Number 3, provide an appeals process. If a resident genuinely disagrees with a maintenance violation, they should have a way to contest it. A structured appeals process prevents the situation from escalating into a full-blown fight. Clearly outline how a resident can challenge a violation. Have a neutral committee, not just the board, review appeals to ensure fairness. Now let's talk about those property maintenance disputes that just don't seem to go away. The ones that start small and then erupt when the situation spirals into legal threats, heated board meetings, and neighborhood division. This is where a neutral facilitator or mediator can be a game changer. A skilled mediator helps residents and HOAs resolve conflicts without the emotional baggage that often comes with these disputes. Instead of things escalating to lawsuits or long-standing resentment, a mediator keeps the conversation focused, solutions-oriented, and productive. So why does this work? Mediators are neutral. We don't take sides, so both parties feel heard. Mediators mitigate the power imbalance. They help get to the real issue. Often a property maintenance conflict isn't about the violation itself. It's about how the person feels they were treated. A mediator helps uncover these underlying concerns. They keep relationships intact. HOAs are communities, not courtrooms. Mediation allows people to walk away feeling respected and not alienated. The bottom line, mediation prevents legal battles and preserves community relationships. So I've talked a lot about individual properties, but what about common areas? You can also have disputes over HOA maintained spaces, like parks, pools, sidewalks. Here are some tips for managing common area issues. Regularly update the residents on maintenance schedules. A simple, we're aware of the issue and working on it, can prevent a lot of frustration. If the HOA needs to delay repairs due to budget constraints, be transparent about the timeliness. Encourage community involvement. Residents who feel included in decisions about common areas are less likely to complain. So let's recap. Property maintenance disputes in HOAs often come down to communication, fairness, and consistency. The best way to manage these conflicts is to be proactive about maintenance expectations. Approach violations with collaboration, not confrontation. Be consistent in enforcement. Listen and offer flexibility when possible. Have a clear, fair appeals process. Homeowners and HOAs want the same thing, a well-maintained, thriving community to which we enjoy coming home. How we approach these disputes determines whether we create a cooperative neighborhood or an environment filled with tension and frustration. Now you may be thinking, Sarah, we don't have the time or resources to implement these strategies, and I get it. I'm not suggesting that the only way your HOA will be successful with compliance is by following all of my suggestions to the letter. I'm encouraging HOAs to do the best they can. You catch a lot more flies with honey than with vinegar. Progress and not perfection is the name of the game. The extra time that you spend doing it the right way will save you so much more on the back end. Thank you for watching. If you've experienced property maintenance conflict in your HOA, I'd love to hear how you handled it, good or bad. Drop a comment or reach out to share your thoughts. I'll see you in the next video.